Play.
Brad mentioned the Wawrinka forehand. We'll see the improvement on that shot tonight.
Well, he's beefed up that shot a lot. I think because he's gotten quicker, he's gotten fitter, it's enabled him to move around the court and hit the forehand more often. Easy looking firepower. First 2 points from Stan. Looks pretty relaxed.
Lemons for serve. Let's second serve.
Game, Wawrinka won first serve in the 5 points, but holds in 15. It's a good start for him.
And Nadal will look to employ that heavy forehand cross court to Wawrinka's backhand wing. Stan a little more firepower off, actually a lot more firepower off that side than Federer. Doesn't have quite the variety, but that will be very interesting to see how that matchup unfolds if Stan can consistently handle the heavy ball to his backhand side.
Keep an eye on the Nadal serve, which was brilliant against Federer. Didn't face any break points until he had a commanding 2-set-to-love lead and up a break in the third. Basically donated that service game to Federer with some sloppy mistakes. Since the blister has gotten better after rounds 3 and 4, the feel on the second serve has gotten better, and that's given him the freedom to go for more in the first serve.
The serving pattern against Federer, as it usually is, pretty much exclusively to the backhand wing. It'll be interesting to see if Nadal mixes it up a bit more tonight.
Rafael Nadal to serve. Left. 30 love.
Two straight serves to the Wawrinka forehand wing there.
40 love.
I asked Darren Cahill after this game to explain what it is about the Wawrinka grip, the way he waits in that return, that makes it tricky for him against Nadal's serve.
Let for serve.
Big time troubles on the return, Darren. Why is it so tricky for Stan, and why is variety an important weapon for Nadal's serve tonight?
Well, Chris, in tennis, we call it a tweener grip. It's not a forehand grip and it's not a backhand. It's right in the middle, and what it allows him to do is to bunt the return back. Hit a slice return on the forehand and backhand without making a change to the grip. He has enormous changes between a forehand and backhand. So if you bang a big fast first serve in there, he doesn't have time to come over the returner serve, and that's why you see him bunt a lot of those returns in. On a second, he can back up and take a bigger swing.
Rafa gave him no looks at his second serve in that service game.
It's probably the biggest weakness in Wawrinka's game is the return off the first serve because of that.
Fifteen love.
We'll talk about the Beckett quotation, but 9 months ago, Stan had tattooed onto his left forearm there. Motto for his career and for his life, basically about perseverance, resilience. He's a little tired about talking about it, that's for sure.
Well,
30 love.
Well, this is what Wawrinka is going to look to do as often as he can, is attack that first ball if Nadal drops it short.
Thirty 15.
Stan is often not a high percentage first server. Needs to go for a lot, but the rhythm is definitely not there in the early stages. He's trying to hold without the first serve as a weapon. Puts that one in, and him with the forehand on the line.
40 15.
Three pretty routine holds his serve to open this Australian Open final.
Wawrinka leads 2 games to 1.
It happened.
Check out the IBM insights for this match, which indicates players' chance of winning a set based on 9 years of majors data, looking at some of the head-to-heads between these guys and taking the hard court into account. You've selected one category for each player.
All right, let's start with Mr. Rafael Nadal. Won more than 27% of first serve return points.
Okay.
Now he does returning Stan's first serve. Hasn't seen a lot of them so far, Likelihood of winning that set would be just about 80%. That's a terrible drop shot there, and Wawrinka makes Nadal pay the price. How about for Stan? I thought I'd throw you just a little bit of a curveball tonight, Chris, for the championship match. Win more than 67% of the points when he's serving at 30-all or deuce at late in the game even. Likelihood of winning that set 56%. So a little wrinkle for you tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think our viewers who play would understand that. You win that 30-all point.
Yeah,
you don't have to face a break point.
Important point. It's kind of a swing point.
Those 30-all points were very important in that airtight meeting in London, the most recent head-to-head. Nadal just a little bit better in the big points. As he usually is against anybody.
Yes.
I
think Rafa's going to serve Stan's forehand a lot tonight. We've seen it a couple of times already off the first serve, and both times Stan is ready for it, and both times Stan's been quite aggressive on that return of serve. He hasn't bunted that ball back, and that is his weakness. Returns the slice return much better on the backhand side than he does on the forehand. Rafa's going to change this up.
Out. Again, not a great volley from Nadal, who's certainly become a skilled volleyer in recent years.
Well, a couple of tight-looking shots from Nadal in this game. Double fault, a poor drop shot. Looked a little edgy on that volley, and Stan just unloads on this back, and that's just too much firepower there.
This little move here would have been legal for Stan as well, had that ball gone in.
Early break chances for the underdog. Wawrinka outplaying the world #1 in the early stages. Gets the break. Nadal leaving lots of those shots very short.
Well, definitely edgy in the opening stages of this match, and Wawrinka calmly takes over the point, and that was a pretty routine break for him.
I really sense that Nadal might be tight at the start of this match.
Love 15.
Wawrinka, 28 years old, made the breakthrough to the Final 8 of the year-end championships last year for the first time. Like Nadal, won a tune-up event on a hard court coming into the Australian Open. So both guys undefeated on the season as we open this final.
And Stan will move into the top 5 when the new rankings come out on Monday. He'll be number 5 if he loses. He'll be number 3 if he wins this final. So there's a little shifting going on in that top 8 now.
Big time. Murray dropping to 6, Federer dropping to 8 in the new rankings.
First ace.
30-15.
In that match in London, we've mentioned it was Nadal getting the first break in both of the 2 sets. Wawrinka having to fight back to force a tiebreak. So already that's been rescripted here.
For serve.
This guy's playing in his first major final. Wow.
He said he felt relaxed, and he's backing that up so far. Wawrinka stretches it to 4-1. On this holiday evening in Australia. Australia Day fireworks are about an hour and 10 minutes away, but it's Wawrinka providing most of those so far. A nervous looking Nadal in a 4-1 hole. Wawrinka took that break and seemed to relax even more.
He seems to be going for his shots, but he's not out of control at all. Very much in his comfort zone so far. Excellent serving game that last game to solidify the break.
Fifteen love.
Rafa at 27. Took over that #1 after beating Djokovic at the U.S. Open. Will build a massive lead if he wins this match. He'd still pretty big if he loses it.
Well, how about this, Chris? Since he came back from being out with that injury, and of course he missed this tournament last year, started shortly after this event on the clay in South America. He's played 19 events since coming back from the knee injury. He's been in the final of 6. This is now the 16th time he's been in the final. Incredible. 11 titles, including 2 majors. The French and, of course, last year's U.S. Open.
Dictate off both wings now.
Yeah, that's a message sender kind of a point. It's 40 love, so it's not a huge point, but to go cross court once, twice, and then wait for the opening and just explode down the line, that's sending a message to Nadal early. I think you'll look and see that Rafa will get a little bit more aggressive, a little more offensive.
30-14.
Excuse me, Chris. I thought it was 40-love. It's actually now a break point for a second break.
Yeah, this is Wawrinka trying to grab a hammerlock on the first set on Nadal that he's ever won. What a start.
Going on, Patrick, from that point you're talking about how good Rafa has been in the last 12 months. If he is to win here, he will reach 15,000 points on the rankings, the first ever player to do that since the history of the rankings.
Well, the lead over Djokovic will be 4,510 with a win tonight. He's not thinking about that now.
No.
Nadal's miss it landing on the line, and he gets out of trouble. Hard-earned hold. Remember that wide serve to save great point as he tries to stage a comeback in this set.
He's mixing up his serves a lot more than he did against Roger Federer.
Seems like Stan's reading it very well.
15-9.
A little bit quicker, Rafa says to the ball kid. Get the towel a little bit quicker. Taking care of his serve very nicely so far. And I really love that play, Chris. He's employed that a couple of times already. Mixing up the serve and volley when he pulls Nadal wide on the backhand wing. Not only does that help him, obviously, in that point, but I think that could help him as the match goes on. Forcing Nadal to come up with a better return more often.
How about that transition tennis?
That's impressive right there. That's the kind of point where Wawrinka was vulnerable in the past, wide to the forehand, but he's improved his movement, he's improved his fitness, and he got himself into an offensive position after 2 or 3 shots. And that was an absolute scorcher of a forehand.
Thinks about a challenge.
Wawrinka soldier the call left service line. The ball was pulled out. Second serve.
You know, to me, that challenge was more about getting in Nadal's head a little bit, because Nadal actually put his hand up to say it was out. And I think it was more of a Wawrinka saying, you know what, I'm still going to challenge it. I'm out here to win this match.
Does not look like a man satisfied with reaching the final.
No.
entire match against Berdych.
40-30.
Faced one break point. Only lost 5 points on his serve in this set so far, and none when he's made the first serve.
Wawrinka leads 5-2.
Welcome back to the Australian Open 2014, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Great start for Stan Wawrinka, trying to take small steps toward a massive achievement here. Win a set against Nadal for the first time in the 27 they played. It'd be crushing at this point if he didn't win this. He's played so well and leads 5-2. But then the job becomes even bigger. Win 2 more.
Exactly.
Nadal will play better as this match goes on. It's not been a very good set. Hasn't served a low percentage, but hasn't been nearly as dominant off the ground as we are used to seeing him.
Only 3 winners for Rafa, all off the forehand side. Wawrinka with 11 winners so far. Been played on Stan's terms so far.
15 love.
An example of what Darren was talking about.
Yes.
That grip is so tricky on the return for him to get a good cut and any kind of control on a first serve return.
Well, there he gave himself a little extra room, took a couple of steps back even on the first serve return. Second serve, he's able to easily take a big cut at it.
30-15.
Also making a few more returns tonight, a few more errors, because he knows he can't just bunt that ball back and start the rally. Nadal's going to make that a forehand and put him on the run straight away. So he's taking more risks off this first serve return.
Yeah, a little easier to do, Darren, when he's up a break.
Nadal had 1 double the entire match against Federer, already 2 in this set.
40-15.
So now the first test of the evening for Wawrinka as a closer, trying to finish this set. Finally take a set from Rafa. Now change rackets the game after the ball change. As you mentioned, Nadal only has 4 rackets in the bag. It's a very low number. That you've got more here, but he'll never use them because the frames haven't been match tested. Not quite the same when you try to close out a set against a guy you've never beaten, is it?
Especially in your first major final.
And never taken a set from him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is a psychological barrier. He's broken through quite a few down here. This is an important one.
got it. Part of the reason why Rafa's become such a great off-court player and a hard-court player is his willingness to step in and take chances. Inside the baseline, attacks the return for a clean winner.
Got him in trouble. Wawrinka screaming out. This is where he's got to push through those doubts that players talk about. It's been a tense game from him.
Has not made a first serve in this game and has paid the price.
33 consecutive holds of serve for Wawrinka. Tested right now. 3 chances for Nadal to get back on serve. How important are these next few points in this match?
Very.
I thought you'd say that. Round 2, second serve returns not put in play by Nadal on break point. Helping out a guy who's pretty tight on this end. A third break point to fight off.
This is the first time he's backed up off a second serve return.
That's terrible returning. 3 in a row on second serve, not in play.
Still hasn't made a first serve this game.
Yes.
Nadal lets Wawrinka get out of this game and grab the set. What a boost for the Swiss. Triple break point quickly to set point. Wawrinka on the brink of taking a set off Nadal for the first time in his life. Finally a first serve. It's Rafa who lets Wawrinka off the hook in that game and finds himself down a set in the Australian Open final. Knowing he could play a lot better than he did in that first set. He certainly can't serve much worse. 38% first serves, only made 1 in that last game closing it out. But claws back from low 40 with 5 points in a row. hardly redlining, and it wasn't a terribly physical set. 37 minutes, which is more good news whenever you play Nadal.
Not a lot of long rallies, not a lot of physical rallies. That's certainly good news for Wawrinka. I certainly expect Nadal to come out with a lot of energy and intensity here to open this second set.
Wow. That is something there. Another message being sent in the first point of the second set. Want to grind? I can grind with you.
And exactly the kind of point that Rafa wants to play, but that backhand overpowered him there cross court, and then he set himself up for a big forehand winner. Some tremendous defense and then quick strike offense from Stan. But he worked hard to get himself into that position.
Nadal is dripping on the court. Wants a little housekeeping done in the service, the baseline there.
Yeah, still really warm out here as well, and quite humid. Now it's 75 degrees.
It's Wawrinka's game that's making him sweat more than anything.
It's just massive. Well, mishits it, and Stan again stepping around. Easily hits the winner there.
What a tremendous display in this first game of the set. Tony in that corner urging Rafa on.
Well, he's basically saying, listen, this guy's just hitting the ball unbelievable right now. You got to stay the course. He's flat out being bullied out there right now.
Anything Nadal does not hit very cleanly as he gets a time violation here. Next one will cost him a fault. No stranger to those. What a game. In the zone. Wawrinka breaks it low. So from low 40 in the previous service game, that's 9 spectacular points. Well, 3 of them return misses from Nadal that were huge. Did you see Magnus Norman and Severin Luthi on the left?
He's just trying to stay cool out there because the game plan is working to a T, and he's teeing off both wings. What a game that was.
Rafa is not happy with the chair umpire having a long conversation there at the change of ends, obviously about the time violation.
Well, I guess he'd rather have one called at first game of the second set than at 4-all. And it happened against Nishikori the other day. We were focusing on that last service game of Wawrinka because if he gets broken, it's back on serve. You don't know how he's going to react, but being given those gifts, he's raised his game another level.
30 love.
Not often see Rafael Nadal lose 11 points in a row.
Wow. He's really out of sorts on the return. He's trying to move way back, trying to move way in, and just not timing the ball at all.
This after a superb return night against the Federer serve. He's all over it. Roger won very few free points. Love change of pace.
14-15.
Stan's also one of those players that has extra weight on his serve. You can look at the clock, but it feels like a much heavier second serve than 100 miles an hour. A lot of the time, that's where he's serving. And Rafa's late with a lot of these second serve returns. And that 100-mile-an-hour second serve is heavy because it's also hit with a lot of spin and it's moving around.
Easy front volley. And Wawrinka stretches it to 2-love.
Well, it's obviously helping Chris. Wawrinka's got the lead. But what I like about what he's doing is he's sticking with his game plan. Unlike what Federer's done against Nadal, which is serve and volley early, but then as soon as he gets past a couple of times, back away. Wawrinka's staying with it. Now, he's got the lead, so it's easier. But he's obviously come out with that a real part of his game plan, which is to mix up some serve and volley when he's got Nadal wide on the backhand.
Let's for serve.
Explain the feeling. You come out, you're serving for a set against a guy you haven't beaten. You play a nervous game. He shanks the first ball to lose the point. Can't really find a first serve, but you still get through that game.
A lot of confidence. It gives you a lot of confidence, and I think that's the reason for this quick start in the second set. And at the moment, Chris, it could turn, but at the moment, even the points Wawrinka's losing, he's losing them on his terms. He's going for shots. He's just missing. He's really pushing Nadal around this court at the moment. And Nadal feels it. That's a perfect example, though, when that point was on Wawrinka's terms.
30-15.
You can hear the effort coming from Nadal to try to make some progress in the points. He's not really making it. I mean, this was lined up for Stan, just barely missed it.
He second-guessed himself after it, said he should have gone line.
No, I actually think it was the right shot. Just didn't need to hit it that well.
40-15.
Badly missed time there as it kicked up. That's in the service box that Nadal is aiming for right now. You can hear the birds overhead. Nadal's frustrated big time.
Long time since I've seen him like this. And
Wow, something just may have happened to his back.
He actually just called for the trainer, I believe. The chair umpire was on his walkie-talkie, so I'm assuming it was for a trainer.
Wow. He turned and he torqued that right up the middle of the court. This has been the major which he's had injury problems in his career.
Says it's his unluckiest, right?
Yeah. Missed it twice because of injury. Gotten hurt twice during the tournament here.
Wawrinka not bothered at all. Goes right to work on him.
That's concern.
This is why you never take any of these matches for granted. And there's nothing on that serve from Nadal. Just 97-mile-an-hour first serve. He spun it in the box.
This is a big game right here.
He's trying to get through this game, Darren, and then see what the trainer can do. Nothing wrong with that forehand cut. So let's see what happens with the trainer's visit to Nadal.
Referees coming onto the court and the trainer.
Remember, it was against Andy Murray 2010 that he was being outplayed by the Scot, retired in that match. And you know, it takes a lot for Nadal to retire at a major. The year after that, when he's going for the Rafa Slam against Ferrer, first game of the match, he injures his knee, doesn't retire, but can't really move around.
They're going to go off the court. It's obviously a back issue. I think that's what the trainer was explaining to him. There's a little sort of training room just outside that exit, the entrance where the players go.
Maybe going back to hand a racket to somebody to have it restrung. And we'll see. We just referenced. He was being routed by Murray, down a couple sets. Retired in this match.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nadal has left the court to receive a medical timeout.
And then the very next year, against a man that he had dominated, David Ferrer, felt something pop in the knee the very first game.
He continued the match and was battled half speed the entire match.
See if we can pick up what happened tonight. That's that backhand that he snatched at in the net in the middle of that last game. So the injury timeout has been taken. Nadal has left the court. And let's go to Chris McKendry and Brad in our studio.
All right, thank you, Chris and Patrick. Hate seeing this story that we've seen too many times here with Rafa Nadal. It is his hardest, most difficult Grand Slam event. Brad, what have you seen from their play so far?
Well, the Stanimal came out with purpose. I mean, he was cracking the ball, and he was determined to take it to Rafa. And those 3 misses on the second serve return just stun you. But right away, right after that, Stan went right to work. And to me, he's the one that's dictating. And if I was Stan right now, there's no way I would be sitting on this entire changeover when Rafa's in getting treatment, because what's racing through your head? I'm setting a break up. The guy's off in the locker room. Get up, bounce around, because you know when Rafa comes back, he'll, I'm sure, you know, still have another gear to be able to reach to.
Well, there you see Stan Wawrinka talking with the chair umpire.
Yes, you are supposed to tell me every match when the opponent calls the physio, you have to tell me why. That's the rule. So you ask and you tell me. If not, I call the physio and I leave just like that.
No, it's between him and the physio for the moment.
No.
If Stefan wants to...
No, you know that's not the rules. You have to tell me why.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Nadal is now receiving a medical time.
So you call and you ask for.
I'm not going to do that, Stan.
You're not going to ask?
I'm not going to ask, no. Now you have a choice.
What's the problem now?
You can fight about this or you can accept it. I think you need to accept it.
But every match, when the opponent asks why the physio is here, the umpire
When
says.
Stefan gets back, let's see what he says. When Stefan gets back, maybe he disagrees with
Call
me.
Stefan now here.
He has to be there.
Call Stefan now here.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Call him.
He has to stay there.
Stefan is the supervisor, Stefan Franzen. He was out here a moment ago. I think he went back in with Nadal. And Wawrinka is saying, I need to be told why he's left the court.
Hey, Patrick.
There's a discussion about the rules, Brad.
Yes.
Ramos said that's not the rule, and you know it.
Yeah, I wouldn't, if I was Stan Wawrinka. You're setting a break up. You're in the zone. Don't engage in this argument right now. Get up, dance around. Now he's finally getting the referee.
Simple. Why the umpire? He told me that he's not going to tell me, he's not going to ask. Normally the rules is if someone has the physio, the umpire says why. Okay. So why he doesn't want to tell me? Why you tell me? Because under progressive treatment, the umpire didn't ask me if he's allowed to tell the opponent. He told the opponent why. Always happens in every match.
You're still not happy. Thinks you should be told the reason for the medical timeout.
A lot of boos now in the stadium as well. Stan was actually waving up to the Nadal camp, the coaching camp, not his box, to Nadal's camp, saying, what's up?
Well, at least he's finally up after 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I think, guys, I think that's too long for him to carry on that argument.
You know him very well, Darren. Is this the kind of thing that could unsettle him when he's playing some of the best tennis of his life here in the first hour of this match?
I would have said yes about 12 months ago, Chris, but I think he's a different guy now. Now, I sat with him on a plane about 2 years ago when he talked about the need to make change with his personal life and also with his tennis career and becoming more professional and having more belief against the top players in the world. And the first thing he said he had to do was to get a great coach. And it took him 8 years. Have a listen to
Well,
this.
being booed as he walks back out shirtless. That's a first on Rod Laver Arena.
That's a shocker.
Of course, there will be people around the tennis world who will say that the way the match is going, the complexion of it, an element of gamesmanship could come into play.
Well, it doesn't look like he has anything on the back. You know, must have got some heat cream, but I'm just still shocked about what has transpired here. Why Stanislav would have got engaged in that.
Well, he's getting engaged because he's standing up for himself. He's thinking exactly what Chris just suggested.
I didn't suggest. I said people would.
No, I understand.
A lot of players would be suspicious of it.
That's what Wawrinka's point is.
Yeah.
Whether he's right or wrong, I don't know. Because you never know. I mean, I would very much doubt that Nadal would just leave the court if he didn't hurt himself.
Right.
Okay.
Ready for play. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Quiet, please. Thank you.
See how the 7-minute, 15-second stop affects both guys.
Ah!
15 left.
Not much of a long look from Nadal to his camp. Didn't show much there.
30 left. 40 love.
You can say what you want, but there's definitely something wrong with Nadal. I mean, he's not moving at all. I wonder if it's just his back just seized up on him.
3 games to 1.
That's pure speculation on my part. He's almost in tears.
I haven't been able to see if there's any strapping underneath his shirt, and for sure he's probably taken a couple of painkillers when he went inside the training room. Sometimes that takes 20 or 25 minutes to kick in.
Many nights in Melbourne are very cool. Temperatures down about high 50s. This is a much warmer night.
Thank you.
I think you have a little less chance of injuring your back in a nice warm evening. Well, you wonder if he'll soldier on. If he can't move any better from that Patrick or serve any faster, this is going to be one-way traffic to the finish line for Wawrinka. Nadal is a man who's willing to suffer as much as anybody who's ever played tennis on the court.
78 miles an hour, that last serve. Can barely reach the net at the moment.
Mm. 15-40.
Is there a worse part of the body to be hurting when you're trying to play?
He can't move at all.
Break points for a 4-1 lead. On another match, it might be in the Grand Slam final. He does not want to shake hands and have Wawrinka win it that way.
No, this guy's an incredible fighter. He might be trying to buy a little time to see if some painkillers, which I'm guessing he took, might be able to kick in, but I've never seen him like this on a tennis court.
We've not seen our coverage. He brought nothing like this into the tournament. The blister has been the only talked about physical situation, and it's been feeling fine. This is something very new tonight. There was no issue at practice.
You know, the back just completely locked up on him.
Time.
It's the first evidence we can see of it. Early in the second set. Just a short massage and Nadal back out, but Wawrinka in total control here. Just has to keep his mind on the job, not let what's happening on Nadal's side distract him.
What must be going through Stan's mind at the moment.
I've got it won, right? That's the danger.
Well, yeah, tough not to think that, but he's got to push that to his side.
15 love. Let for serve.
And serve at 115. Rafa didn't even make a move for it.
Well, there's two possibilities at the moment. One of them is what Darren suggested, which he's hoping and waiting to see if maybe some painkillers kick in. The other one is he doesn't want to retire. Just wants to play it out. Which, by the way, he did against Ferrer.
I would suggest both are true. Yeah. He's waiting to see if he can loosen up and feel better. And there's no way he wants to shake hands in a Grand Slam final by retiring. Wawrinka has to be thinking about that trophy, which is just over his right shoulder here. There's been no retirement in an Australian Open men's final since 1990, when Stefan Edberg against Lendl, a set all, down 5-2 in the third, retired with an abdominal injury.
Wawrinka leads 5-1.
Rafa's achieved so much and been a huge part of tennis history. He does not want to add his name to the very short list of guys who've retired in Slam finals.
And this crowd is stunned at the moment.
Let for serve.
And no doubt disappointed.
Left. Off. 15-30.
Even Carlos Ramos in the chair sounds disappointed. We only get 4 of these a year as fans.
15-40.
He won a nice final to climax the tournament. Serve and volley to save 1 set point. Nadal wants to get this over as quickly as possible. This second set.
No, the only thing you're wondering now is he gonna shake hands?
The only thing a player wants from a trainer is, can I injure it worse by continuing to play?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, then you make the prudent decision to stop.
Advantage Wawrinka. Yes. Advantage Nadal. Game Nadal. Nidos, please.
Nadal will play on, it looks like, and Wawrinka will serve for a 2-set-to-love lead. Nadal spinning the changeover with his head in his hands. Guy who has been a symbol of strength and stamina on a court. Not always sturdiness, however. And as far as we know, never had a real back issue before, Patrick.
Nope.
It's been the knee, of course. Ankles, feet.
Blister here was, as you said earlier, Chris, really the big story for him through the middle part of the tournament.
But so many other players have had back issues. Federer, Murray, the back surgery after the U.S. Open.
15-all.
Two-set points.
Game and second set. Wawrinka 6 games to 2. Wawrinka wins 2 sets to 1.
So it's hand Wawrinka within a set in his first Grand Slam title. In the circumstances that no one here wanted. And now grimacing as the trainer rubs cream into his back. There's his father, Sebastian, behind Tony.
And also a lot of those people that booed him as he came out from inside the tunnel are feeling pretty bad about themselves right now as well. Very conflicted feeling inside the stadium.
Absolutely. Wawrinka was outplaying Nadal before there was any hint of an injury, that's for sure. And his match against Djokovic on this court on Tuesday, the highlight of this tournament so far. He's given the trophy after one more set. He will have deserved it and earned it.
Absolutely.
But no one wants to see the slam end this way.
Well, anyone that's had their back seize up on them, I mean, I have a couple of times, but the idea of actually trying to go out and do anything, never mind play tennis, it's just unfathomable.
Love 15. Love 13.
Just a complete freakish thing. You said, Chris, he's never been any sign of any issue for him with the back.
Yeah, not that we know of, perhaps
No.
in training, but
Maybe.
certainly not in a match that I can recall.
Fifteen 13.
This is a guy who came into this event on a roll after one of the most satisfying years of his career, winning major number 13 to close out 13. Looked to be, despite his age of 27, at his physical peak in this tournament so far. And whatever it was, Patrick, one or two swings of the racket. Feeling something grab.
Yeah, we noticed it on that one forehand when he pulled up. We didn't see anything before that.
Yes.
People look for any sign that it's feeling better or that the painkillers are kicking in.
That was a decent sign.
Better cuts at the ball.
Grunting also on every ground stroke.
Still not moving like we are used to seeing him, to say the least.
Nor serving.
No. Let's recap what happened. Wawrinka said he felt relaxed and came out firing in the first set. He was able to grab the break and really dictating on both wings.
Yeah, his big forehand was working, but so was the backhand. That went up the line for a winner. Gets to set points, saved 3 break points in that game. And in the second set, he started off beautifully. More of the same, a brilliant game to break serve early. And then the Nadal injury came right around this point here when he missed his forehand. And
kind of rolled that serve in there too.
Yeah.
To begin the point.
Left the court to get some treatment. Since then, his movement's been severely limited.
Looks like reacting to Wawrinka's shots has been one of the bigger problems with the back, as well as serving. There's just no explosive movement either way. Wawrinka is struggling to keep his level up. Can't be easy mentally.
No. I mean, think about all he's waited his whole life to have an opportunity like this, worked his way to get to this final. Outplaying Nadal for a set in an early part of the second set and thinking, okay, I might actually have a chance to win this.
A little better moving. Nadal trying to stay right up on the baseline so he has to cover less ground. And
Love 30 opening.
Yeah, this is where Stan needs to decide how he wants to finish this, how he wants to play. Does he go back to playing the same aggressive way as he was at the first set, or does he put a little more spin on the ball and give it more margin? But he's got to pick a way. And then be committed to it.
15-30.
Much better hitting. As long as he doesn't have to sprint side to side. And Nadal, 2 great chances to jump in front in the third. His only break points until these were in the 5-3 game in the first, when Wawrinka played a very nervous game and fell behind love 40 before reeling off 5 in a row. We'll see how this service game goes if he's able to get a little bit more on the serves. If in fact the pain-killing medication or the rub out is having an effect. Clearly Wawrinka's concentration wobbly right now.
That's hard. I mean, as Darren said, you got to pick away, but part of determining which way to pick depends on what's happening on the other side. Nadal can't move at all. You can play with a little more margin and sort of move it around, but as it appears at the moment, he's starting to at least be able to move a little bit. He's still not serving.
One of the greatest defenders ever has no defensive game right now. He has to try to dictate points. If he has to move to chase shots, it's not going to happen. See if Nadal's back gets better and if Wawrinka can regroup mentally. Down 3-love. This is the serve trailing a set in 2-love when we can first spy evidence of something wrong with Nadal's back. Immediately calls for the trainer.
Yep. After
that first serve. There's the second serve following that. Just kind of laid it in, and Wawrinka mistimed it, and then the forehand cut on the following point.
The next point was when he
punched over.
That's right. Yeah, that was a good pickup by our guys there. and gals in our production truck.
Let's for serve.
What would you tell Wawrinka now about keeping his mind on the job, seeing that Nadal is beginning to take better cuts off the ground?
Well, I think playing with a little more margin is a good thing, but he does have to move Nadal because Nadal's now starting to get better cuts at the ball, and he's found his timing, and he's hitting the ball better. There's no question about it. But the movement is still not there, so you don't have to redline, but you still have to work the ball with a bit more spin than what you started the match with. Forget about what's happening on the other side of the court. Concentrate on your side. Block it out as much as you can. It's difficult. You have to do the best you can.
14-15.
Yeah, I always hear people say it's hard to play against someone that's injured. It's a lot harder to be injured. So you have to remember that.
I'll play a drop shot as well, just to check it out, see if he's going to move forward.
If Wawrinka could just continue to hit his spots in the corner of the service box, Rafa's not making a move toward those serves. The serve speed at times in this tournament was affected by the blister. That's not the issue here. It's much more severe than that.
Little come on there from Stan, trying to get himself refocused, get himself pumped up again.
Yeah, it's hard to be too pumped up, isn't it? I mean, that's the challenge. Because here he is playing for his first major final against one of the greatest players of all time. And it's almost like he can't really pump himself up because it's obvious what's going on the other side. And then what's going on from the other side is some pretty good shots at the moment, like that.
13-15.
Nadal can get a return in the spot to hit. That's clearly what he wants to do. First ball, get Wawrinka moving, win it quickly. It's been a pretty successful play in his service games. And that's not much of a return of a pretty soft serve, allowing Nadal to pick a winner. Head shake from Wawrinka. He's down 4-1 in the third. A strange final, to say the least. Crowd inside Rod Laver, not sure what to make of this.
I don't think anybody is.
Nadal still not serving hard or moving well, but hitting some quality shots. Wawrinka, his concentration a little fragile right now. Finds himself down a break. The job would seemingly be straightforward for him given what he's come through in this tournament, but it's such a different proposition.
He's making a lot more errors in this set. That's already his 13th unforced error in the set against just 7 winners. And in the first couple of sets, he was a lot higher in winners to errors. And then Nadal, he gets him on the move a little bit there. And there comes a winner from the other side.
What do you think he's thinking about what he's seeing across the net from Nadal right now?
I guess I'm going to have to work to win this. I mean, it's hard to know what exactly is going through his mind. I mean, what a range of emotions. I mean, he's never been in this position before. He's a huge underdog. He comes out on fire. He's up a set and a break. For a good 15 minutes, it looks like there's no way Nadal's going to be able to finish the match. Now he's down 4-1 in the third. You tell me what he's thinking.
See if Nadal can manage to hold serve twice more and push this to a 4th set. Some deep breaths from Wawrinka at this near end, right in front of our window here, trying to jump around and get himself going again.
It also looks like Nadal has taken off that little donut piece of tape that he had covering the blister. You can see the blister is now exposed. And if you're looking for positive signs from Rafa as well, at the end of the change of ends of the last turn, he actually took his gel, his normal routine. So getting his mind back on the job here as well. So he's doing his normal stuff to help him prepare for the next game. That's a good sign.
Slightly better speed on the first serve miss. Wawrinka badly mistiming that return.
What a shot there.
That's the kind of backhand that built him the lead in this match.
Yeah, much better hitting from Nadal on that point as well. They got some angle on these forehands. And Stan on the run just crushes that. Some serious leg strength right there.
He's really struggled with the off-speed Nadal serves. Not very many quality returns, which is giving Nadal the chance, I think, Patrick, to end points quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's taking the chances because he knows that's what he has to do.
Out 40-30. Game Nadal.
Wawrinka kind of throws his hands in the air. Another hold from Nadal, who's closing in on the third set.
Welcome back to the Australian Open 2014, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Australia Day and a funky Aussie Open finalist. Wawrinka serves to stay in this third set. He went and had more of that gel fueling up.
Yep.
So we're not going to see a retirement here, it appears, which is good news. We may see a fourth set as Wawrinka can find a way to break Nadal. Stan completely outplaying Rafa when Nadal was 100% early, but since the injury, it's gotten more complicated for him.
40 love.
So he was able to win the second set quickly, and then I think, as we surmised, Nadal has been able to get the back work done. Probably took some painkillers. We don't know that for sure. At least he's been able to swing at some shots. He still hasn't obviously been able to move, but when he first got injured, Chris, he couldn't even swing at the ball.
Looks to me like the backhand is feeling okay as long as he doesn't have to reach for it. And the shots are coming down the center of the court. He's still timing them up well, and he's playing close to the baseline, so he's able to use Wawrinka's pace.
This is where Stan's return of serve lets himself down a little bit because he doesn't really get a lot of pace on his first serve return. I'd actually back him up so he can take a swing at this first serve return, because Nadal's not serving over 105 miles an hour. Because he's standing in so close to the baseline, the bunt's not working for him. It's giving Nadal a crack at that first shot.
That's a great point, Darren. With a few quality returns, it seems like he can get right back on serve here.
And Nadal's basically spinning it into his backhand every time without a lot of pace on it. You know, he's got new balls. Talked about that improvement off the forehand wing for Wawrinka, and it's paid off for him tonight. That's definitely better movement there from Rafa.
15-0.
Step back to hit a forehand, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of better returns there, but Wawrinka has not tried one drop shot since Nadal has injured himself. Surprising.
Nobody could have predicted this plot twist.
Wawrinka had two break chances earlier in the set. Has two more to get back on serve.
Please, please, please. Ready for play now. Thank you.
action there. Stress levels getting high on the Wawrinka side of the court.
Nadal 2 points from the set.
Let for serve.
Backing way up again on the return.
Wow, that one really flew on him.
Nadal, a set point. As Wawrinka continues to mutter to himself.
Yes.
13 winners off that wing now for Wawrinka. (42-16) overall.
Boy, Wawrinka's battle is all between the ears right now. Just can't flush the tension out. Another chance for Nadal to take the set.
That last serve, though, Chris, 107 miles per hour.
Coming up a little bit. He just slaps it into the net. Nadal forces a fourth set as the trainer makes another visit. Plot twists on Rod Laver Arena as we go upstairs to Chris McHenry and Brad Gilbert.
Chris, thank you. We're going to stay here with the trainer as he takes a look at Nadal, but this is Nadal's 20th Grand Slam final. He's won a set in each and every one. This will not be straight sets, Brad. We weren't sure we could say that about 40 minutes ago.
I'll just say, holy Toledo. Early in that third set, when Stanislaw had a couple of break points, you thought maybe it would be over. Look at the fireworks going downtown, but that used to interrupt play, but they moved it down to the Docklands, so no interruption of play. But Stanislaw has got to get back to moving Rafa side to side, working the point. I always say, be wary of wounded bear. You start to focus on what's on the other side of the net, and he stopped playing his game. And he started donating a little bit, and all of a sudden now he's given Rafa a little bit of hope when he's maybe moving at 20%.
Yeah, Darren said it. We haven't seen a serve and volley since Rafa's been injured. He's not moving him around as possibly he should be. And Nadal is getting back into his routine. He's getting back into this match, and Stan has lost the script.
Well, speak of routine, I'd never seen him let the guy cross the net first a few times earlier in the third set. Let's take a look at Rafa getting back in this set. He started to play more aggressively. He couldn't move, but he started taking a few more cuts. And I think a lot of it came from these weak returns. He was serving at about 80 miles an hour, and then Rafa started dictating play. And once again, that's a ball right there early in this match where Stanislaw would make Rafa move. Doesn't make him move. Easy winner from Rafa. And look at these donations from the Stanislaw. Just easy mistakes off of 80-mile-an-hour serves. Once again, no moving his feet. That's a 6 in cricket.
Take a look at the errors by set so far.
8-12. It started creeping up there. 19 that set. And to me, all of a sudden, if Rafa can, early in this set, establish a little more movement, nerves might really start to creep in the Stanimal's head.
Could be something in the Open era, Chris. No one's overcome an 0-2 deficit in the final of the Australian Open for the men. We send it back down to you and Patrick.
An 0-2 deficit with a back injury, no less. But I think what Brad says important. We'll see how Wawrinka handles this first game of the fourth. He can keep holding serve. He can play with the lead until he can find a way to make enough returns and get the break against Nadal.
Very good point. And now I think he understands what he's up against. He understands what's coming from the other side of the net. He should be able to settle down. Kind of find that balance that Darren was talking about, that he wants to play now. Against obviously an injured Nadal, but not a Nadal that can't play, that can't compete. He's wounded, but he's still there.
Skip from Wawrinka, who holds comfortably. Now we'll try to get on top of these off-speed Nadal serves. Notice the miles per hour coming up as the third set went on. He was struggling to break 80 miles an hour when that first seized up.
While he still is struggling, obviously, at least now he's going through all of his pre-point routines. Return a serve, taking the towels back, pre-serve routines, walking through the middle of the Melbourne sign. You know, the body's not in it, but certainly the head is back in the game.
When you hear Nadal skid, as he did on going out to that forehand, that's a good sign for him. A little more explosive with his movement out to that forehand. Couple solid returns from Wawrinka there. As you see the end of the third set, it did get back up to around 100.
I like this move of Stan backing up for the first and second serve.
Yeah, he's getting better cuts on all three of his returns in this game.
For serve.
Beautifully done there.
Now Wawrinka's back in it emotionally. They come on. Chances to grab a break here.
Yeah, in it emotionally and with his footwork, Chris. Stepping around to hit 2 big forehands. Very alert. Well outside the doubles alley when he made contact there.
A breaker serve here changes everything.
Sure.
Biggest serve in a while there, 113.
Wow. Difficult to know what to expect if you're Wawrinka. The service speeds are sort of all over the place. So Wawrinka doesn't get the break that would have changed everything. 4 points in a row for Nadal. 1 game all. Big Four have won 34 of the last 35 men's Grand Slam titles. The exception being Juan Martín del Potro in 2009 U.S. Open. The comeback against Federer. Wawrinka trying to break that hold here. During that incredible span of 35, Federer has won 13, Nadal 13, Djokovic 6, Murray 2. And that group has dominated the finals down here since 08.
Even a couple little words of encouragement in this game from the Nadal player box. Well, suggesting that maybe it's, as Darren was pointing out about his routines and his rituals, somewhat they're back in the match too. Somewhat getting back to normal. Certainly not normal, but at least they feel, I think, that Wayne Rafa feels that, you know, he's still able to be out there and play.
That's a great observation, Darren May. When he abandons those rituals, that means just about abandoning hope. He uses those to sort of maintain order and some sense of control out there. Well chronicled ticks. But he does look a lot more engaged right now. Game point.
Let the serve.
That's nicely done.
On serve in the fourth.
Wawrinka leads 2-1.
Opportunities in that game for Wawrinka to take control. Last time Rafa served, couldn't grab them. Nadal clearly trying to put much more energy and emphasis on holding serve.
15 minutes.
That's a bad miss there. I think initially he wanted to come forward on that, which he should have, and then he hesitated.
He just said push, push, push for himself. Nadal wants to stop and challenge the call in the previous shot.
Back baseline. Ball's called in.
The eyes are still sharp for Nadal. That's another bad miss for Wawrinka, Patrick.
Yep.
40 left.
They can get fairly easy for Nadal to build a 40-love lead here. Better return.
40-15.
Serve there from Rafa, sliding it wide, and Stan a bit sluggish with the feet there.
2 games old.
He's really struggling in Nadal's service games to hit clean shots. So many mistakes. Allowing Nadal to stay with him.
We talk so often about Nadal being one of the great problem solvers in tennis, and you could just feel his mind ticking over right now.
It's a heck of a problem to solve, but he has found ways to be competitive.
15-all.
So used to seeing him battle for every ball and every shot. Clearly that's not happening and can't happen, seemingly.
Ace number
Still
18.
thinking.
Yeah.
30-15.
Well, I think for a while, obviously, Nadal was thinking about how can I just survive? How can I stay out here? Now, 2-all in the fourth. Maybe he's starting to think about, could I actually get this to a 5th set?
Get to a 5th set of a Grand Slam final. Anything is possible. Remember, we saw the French final. Guillermo Coria was absolutely routing Gaston Gaudio.
2 sets to love up.
Barely lost a game through the first couple sets in Paris, and then it all sort of turned around, and Coria got tight, and he cramped. Gaudio became one of the most surprising slam winners on the men's side in recent years against the guy who was the best clay court player at that time.
And look at how that loss affected Correa's career.
So another comfortable hole for Wawrinka. Hasn't yet been able to solve Nadal's serves yet in the fourth. Now, if you're just joining us, we'll explain the funky scoreline and the stats that reflect a bizarre Australian Open final. Nadal trying to find a way to navigate through his service games, continue to hold, and maybe put some pressure on Wawrinka.
Thank you. Thank you. Ready for play. Love 15.
Anything miss hit or left hanging, Wawrinka has pummeled tonight. That was one of the best quick movements Nadal's made in the last couple sets there, covering that forehand.
Stan second-guessed his direction on the forehand there, went back behind Nadal. There's the great rocket, Rod Laver.
His first ever Grand Slam final was at Wimbledon. He was routed in it.
Big opportunity now for Wawrinka. Like the fact that he's stepped back, he's put a little air under some of his shots. Opportunity at 15:30.
Wawrinka knows that this is his chance right here.
Got it.
His cheering section behind the player box on their feet. There's the long-awaited breakthrough, the Stanimal. And it seems like the trophy is right within his grasp, given Nadal's troubles to break.
Love 15.
Well, now it's just going to be a question of can Wawrinka handle his own nerves to cross the finish line, as he set that point up beautifully, and an easy forehand dumped it in the middle of the net.
No surrender yet from Nadal. You wouldn't expect it.
not tried to test him out and play a single drop shot since Nadal hurt himself.
Why do you think that is, there?
Just a mental block, I would say. Just the occasion. Just not thinking clearly.
Wow, did not see this. 3 chances for Nadal to get back on serve. That's a terrible game. And it's still interesting out here, back on serve. Rafael Nadal still alive thanks to serious show of nerves from Wawrinka after he had gotten the break to go up 4-2. A string of errors to show some frailty to Rafa, which is not a good idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's our spot from our booth here, and Wawrinka comes right back to get his towel. Boy, he's got plenty to think about.
Likes to carry on conversations with himself. Better stuff from Wawrinka there. Just mind on the job.
All of a sudden, Nadal grunting like normal. Wawrinka patient, set up the backhand. He's done that a few times where he goes big, heavy cross court and then gets the opening down the line. Nadal hesitated there, and it cost him.
15-14.
Chances at another break.
No,
This time to be able to serve for the title.
that was a smart shot from Stan there. Got it down at his feet.
It's nice to have him look right into the window between every point. He tries to take little breaks. He says, think about anything but tennis for about 2 seconds to kind of clear the mind in a big moment. Deep breath and a couple of whacks to the head by Wawrinka. Another break gives him a chance to serve for his first Grand Slam title.
Boy, it works for him again, this time with the forehand wing, cross court, and then the winner up the line, and he says, one more to go.
And no more what we saw in the last service game. Nadal is still trying to give everything he has over there.
Heck of an effort by Rafa.
He sure is.
And new balls, no less. Let him have a deep breath and win that first point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stepping out of the shadows of his compatriot with 17 Grand Slam titles, closing in on his first. Triple championship point. Stan is the man. A Grand Slam title well earned, even if the final chapter was bizarre. Not the way he would have envisioned it. Perhaps not the way he hoped it would feel, Patrick, but still a very satisfying 2 weeks in Australia for Stanislav Wawrinka.
Very, very touching to me the way he celebrated, because he really didn't celebrate, and I think that was respect for this man, Rafael Nadal, and it was very muted, but he will celebrate, and he deserves to celebrate. And
Nadal, this group right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Magnus Norman took him on about 9 months ago, got into the U.S. Open semis, which was a big achievement. Got him past Djokovic to snap a 14-match losing streak. And his first ever win of Nadal. There's Severin Luthi, of course, has been in Roger Federer's camp and on the losing end of so many matches against Nadal. 28 years old. He admitted it's been a little bit frustrating to be overshadowed by, in his words, the greatest genius ever to play tennis.
Yeah. Well, what a way to win his first major, right? To beat Djokovic, the 3-time defending champ here, and then to beat Rafael Nadal. And I'll tell you, I feel a lot of pride for our sport when I see what Stan did and what Nadal did as well. You couldn't hear what he said, but he wanted Wawrinka to have his moment, and he said, "It's okay, don't worry, I'll be okay." And that's a classy response from one of the all-time greats in Rafael Nadal.
I'm sure any player who goes to the net, even if they're a winner, would understand what it would feel like to be on the other side. The disappointment to get hurt in a major final. But as you said, a well-deserved celebration for Stan Wawrinka, who breaks through down under, beats Nadal in 4 sets. Trophy presentation from Melbourne straight ahead. There's match point for Stan Wawrinka, and then a poignant moment. They show class, and then Just moments ago, Wawrinka consoling Nadal, who was outplayed before the injury came up. You have to say that Wawrinka was up a set and a break before Nadal had any issue with the back. And after that, it became a little bit deflating. It became about Nadal's back and Wawrinka's brain. Could he handle what was going on out there and just keep his focus? And it was wobbly for a time, but he got it back.
He did. And, you know, it's interesting. Remember at the beginning of the show, and we had the words from Pete Sampras, and we saw what Rafael Nadal said when he takes that walk. You never know when you're going to get these moments again. And we assume in watching these great champions like Nadal, like Djokovic, Federer for so long, that they're just going to keep coming. And I think they realize more than anyone that you never know what can happen out there. And this certainly was an example of that tonight.
Nadal has been a part of drama at these trophy presentations. 2009 beats Federer, who was the clear favorite in that final. And Roger kind of crying on his shoulder, Rafa consoling him. Then a couple of years ago, of course, after the 5-hour, 53-minute final against Djokovic, Nadal on the losing end. Both guys so exhausted after that battle, they had to bring chairs out in the court as the lengthy presentation unfolded. And now this moment, the humongous disappointment. Battled through a blister, which seems like a minor footnote at this point, given what happened to him in the final. But for Wawrinka, a huge breakthrough at age 28. He has worked forever for this moment. Trophy presentation just a few seconds delayed. You know that Nadal will be gracious, and so will Wawrinka, and compassionate as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, tennis has a new Grand Slam champion, but tonight I think it's so true to say there were two great champions on the court, Rafa Nadal and Stan Wawrinka. What a match and what a fortnight. We're joined tonight for the presentation by the President of Tennis Australia, Stephen Healy, from Kia Motors Corporation, the Executive Vice President and CEO, Mr. Thomas O. Pete Sampras is here tonight, 20 years after he won his first Australian Open. And may I say, when Pete won his second Australian Open in 1997, it was Australia Day that day as well. Pete, great to have you back. The tournament director and chief executive of Tennis Australia, Craig Tiley, and the tournament referee, Wayne McEwen, are also here tonight. Kia have been a wonderful sponsor of Tennis Australia and the Australian Open, and I'd like to invite Mr. Thomas O to say a few words.
Gentlemen, I do believe both of you have demonstrated all of the qualities of a true champion throughout this year's tournament. I also thank everyone at the Tennis Australia, the tournament organizing staff, and the volunteers for their hard work to make this year's event successful. And of course, my heartfelt thanks go out to all of the passionate fans here tonight, watching at home. Once again, I am so proud of the two finalists for their sportsmanship and professionalism. Thank you.
Mr. O, thank you very much. It's a pleasure now I invite the President of Tennis Australia, Mr. Stephen Healy. Stephen.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Australia Day, and what an eventful fortnight of tennis we've had. I'd like to thank our fantastic sponsors, led by Kia, Jacobs Creek, ANZ, Rolex, and all of our commercial partners. We thank you for your support. These incredible facilities are the very best in the world, and we thank the Victorian Government for their constant support, enabling us to give the fans and the players the very best tennis experience. Thank you to our tournament team, led by led by our CEO and Tournament Director Craig Tiley, our referee Wayne McEwen, and all of the 4,500 team that come together and are so fantastic in the course of the weekend, the fortnight and the year. And to you, the fans all around the world who've tuned in over 200 countries, and the 643,280 people who have come through the gate, thank you for your support. And to the players, to Rafa, your courage under adversity is absolutely inspiring, and you are a fantastic role model and ambassador for the sport. And to stand your first Grand Slam title, we are delighted it's here at the Australian Open. He will be number 3 in the world tomorrow, and he's the first player in over 20 years to beat the number 1 and number 2 seed to win the title. Congratulations. And I now call upon the umpire for the night, Carlos Ramos, to come forward.
Congratulations, Carlos. His 3rd Australian Open and his 6th Grand Slam as the chair umpire. Well, Stephen touched on Rafa's courage tonight. What an incredible comeback Nadal has made to world tennis in the last 12 months. Not here last year. He won 2 majors. He got back the world number 1. And they often say you learn more about a champion when he's flat on his back and in defeat than you do in victory. We learned a lot more again tonight about you, Rafa. To present the trophies, Pete Sampras, and the checks, Mr. Tomaso, Rafael Nadal.
Well, good evening, everybody. First thing that I want to say and I need to say is many thanks to Stan. You really deserve it, and all your team. Very happy for you. I know we have a great relationship. Bad luck that was against me today, but you really deserve it. So many congratulations and all the best for the rest. Second thing, I want to say many thanks to all the organization, all the ball boys, everybody who makes possible this great event. Seriously, all the sponsors, especially the main sponsor, Kia, that is my sponsor since I started playing tennis. So many thanks, Kia, for supporting tennis this way. Thank you very much. Craig, thank you very much for everything. Probably you are best tournament director in the world. You make feel the players like home, and just can say thank you very much from all the players for make us feel unbelievable every year by year here. Thank you very much. My team that was working with me, well, last year I couldn't be here. This year I am back. I tried hard. Thank you very much, everybody who is there supporting me. Without them, it will be impossible to be back where I am today. So thank you very much. And the really last thing, to all the crowd, have been just very, very emotional 2 weeks. I'm, sorry to finish this way. I tried very, very hard. Thank you. Well, last year was a very tough moment when I didn't have the chance to be playing here. This year was one of the more emotional tournaments in my career. Thank you very much for the support. Have been more than ever. I really enjoyed so much playing in this court. So just thank you very much, and see you in 12 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafa. Well, as Stephen said a moment ago, Stan's the first man since Sergei Bruguera in 1993 to beat the world #1 and #2. But he's also the first man ever to beat Novak and Rafa in a Grand Slam. He did it the hard way. He is the world #3 from tomorrow, but far more importantly than that, he's a Grand Slam champion. Stan Wawrinka.
Hello, everybody. First, Rafa, I'm really sorry for you. I hope your back is going to be fine. You're a really great guy, a good friend, and amazing champion. So you did an amazing comeback last year to come back #1, and it's always a pleasure to play against you and to play with you. So